Imagine sitting alone in a quiet room. No phone, no music, no television, no conversations, just you and your thoughts. For many people, that sounds uncomfortable. Some might even call it frightening. We live in a world where being constantly connected has become normal. Yet, despite being more connected than ever before, loneliness is rising across the globe. Why? Why do so many of us fear being alone? What is it about solitude that makes us uneasy? And what if the very thing we spend our lives avoiding contains the wisdom we've been searching for? Today, we'll explore the psychology and spirituality behind our fear of being alone. Our fear of being alone didn't begin with social media. It didn't begin with modern life. It is ancient. For most of human history, survival depended on belonging to a tribe. Being isolated often meant danger, no protection, no support, no community. The human brain evolved to treat social connection as a necessity. Even today, part of our nervous system reacts to loneliness as if it were a threat. This is why rejection hurts. This is why exclusion feels painful. And this is why being alone can trigger anxiety. The fear is deeply wired into us. But there is another reason we fear being alone. When we are alone, we meet ourselves, without distractions, without entertainment, without constant stimulation. Many people spend years filling every empty moment, scrolling, watching, listening, talking. Not because they enjoy it, but because silence feels uncomfortable. The moment external noise disappears, internal noise becomes impossible to ignore. Unresolved emotions begin to surface, old memories return, questions arise, and many people would rather stay distracted than face what lives within them. Psychologists have discovered something fascinating. Many people would rather experience discomfort than sit alone with their thoughts. Why? Because the mind is rarely quiet. It replays the past, it worries about the future, it imagines problems, it judges, it criticizes. When we're constantly busy, these voices remain hidden beneath the noise. But solitude removes the distractions, and suddenly we hear everything. Not because solitude creates these thoughts, but because it reveals them. Perhaps the biggest misunderstanding is believing loneliness and solitude are identical. They are not. Loneliness is feeling disconnected. Solitude is being physically alone. A person can feel lonely in a crowded room, and another can sit alone by a lake and feel completely at peace. The difference is not the absence of people. The difference is the relationship we have with ourselves. When we enjoy our own company, solitude becomes freedom. When we fear ourselves, solitude becomes suffering. Throughout history, philosophers, monks, writers, and spiritual teachers have intentionally sought solitude, not because they hated people, but because they understood something important. Solitude creates space, space to think, space to heal, space to understand who we are beneath our roles and identities. In solitude, we begin hearing our own voice instead of the voices of the world. We become less influenced by expectations, less dependent on approval, less controlled by comparison, and more connected to ourselves. Here's the paradox. The people who are most comfortable being alone often build the healthiest relationships because they do not need others to complete them. They connect from wholeness rather than dependency. When we stop fearing solitude, we stop clinging. We stop chasing validation. We stop seeking constant reassurance. And our relationships become healthier, deeper, and more authentic. Maybe the fear of being alone is not really about being alone. Maybe it's about what we might discover when the noise disappears, the emotions we've ignored, the truths we've avoided, the parts of ourselves waiting to be understood. But perhaps solitude is not the enemy, perhaps it is the teacher, because when we learn to sit peacefully with ourselves, we discover something remarkable. The emptiness we feared was never empty at all. It was a doorway to self-understanding, to freedom, to peace, and to a deeper connection with life itself.